This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
The sun is working overtime today. It is the hottest day of the year so far. We are in a heat advisory in parts of our area right now, but some storms could change that in just a matter of hours. Thank you for being here at 5. I'm Ann Allred. Mike and Kelly have the day off. We hit a record high of 103 degrees. We have not seen temperatures like that in decades. Meteorologist Gary Frank is in for Jim Castillo with the latest. Gary.
Yeah, some things are already cooling off depending on where you are, and you're seeing this dividing line. And look at our temperatures now. As we got to 100 degrees, we have nowhere that's 100 degrees right now that's showing up. And we have even some low 80s, and of course that's because of rain-cooled air. And we look at this pretty consistent rain at the airport now. There's some pockets of very heavy rain and very slow traffic as well. This is a good time for it or bad time, and a lot of us want this rain. But you can see, and I want to point out this leading edge where that rain-cooled line. That's this outflow boundary from storms way to the northwest of us. And behind it, of course, the heat and humidity. We finally started to see storms that develop, move very slow, and dump heavy amounts of rain in a short amount of time. Good news, bad news. Not severe right now as we look from those storms in North County here, from Ferguson to Spanish Lake, Creve Coeur, really from 70, just south of the airport specifically. It's really from Creve Coeur and Lindbergh to the north here. And then as we go on to the Metro East side now from Belleville, not as much, but doesn't mean it won't fill in as well. And then we also have this one severe thunderstorm warning right now for Lincoln and Pike County, although this is probably the most strong storm. I don't really see much in the way of hail or wind with this as well. That's what we're looking at right now. In the next 12 hours, I think we'll see more storms like this develop along this boundary, at least in the short term, providing some rain-cooled air. But this cold front arrives early Wednesday. That's more of a widespread, consistent rain with maybe some minimal severe threats. We'll talk about that in our potential rainfall totals before we don't talk about heat as a headline, at least for a few days.
If you need a spot to cool down, St. Louis City has more than a dozen cooling centers to visit. For a full map with locations, just text the word HEAT to 314-425-5355. Right now, police are investigating after a body was found in the River des Peres. The body was found around 1:30 this afternoon in South St. Louis. Police responded to this pedestrian bridge off River des Peres Boulevard near Gravois. Right now, we don't know the identity of the person found in the water or how they died. We will keep you updated as we get more into our newsroom. For the first time, the U.S. Surgeon General is declaring gun violence as an urgent public health crisis. Our Justina Cornell joins us in studio to break down the details. Justina, what can you tell us about the Surgeon General's 39-page advisory?
Well, the advisory recommends the need for more research, strategies, and stronger laws. It talks about gun violence in vulnerable communities, on children, and the collective toll this has on our mental health.
Music to their ears. It's a melody made in this safe space, a space using art as an alternative.
We believe that a lot of the violence that happens in the inner cities that we serve happen because of a lack of ability to express yourself in a healthy way.
That's why St. Louis Story Stitchers created the center to address gun violence.
So unfortunately, it kind of comes with the territory of the youth that we work with, that they're traumatized in some way, shape, or form.
It's an outlet for 16 to 25-year-olds and a place to use their voice. The nonprofit is on its way to its 10-year anniversary.
Gun violence is definitely not a new problem, but I am glad that it's getting more attention.
Now their efforts are remotivated with the U.S. Surgeon General's declaration of gun violence as a public health emergency.
Our failure to address it is a moral crisis.
The bullet-related injury clinic known as BRIC is another place for pain and healing.
The BRIC is a home for a holistic body of care for people and their families who are recovering from a bullet injury.
Director Dr. L.J. Punch calls the latest advisory a break forward in helping with structure and funding.
It's about recognizing the devastating impact of these injuries and being smart and being proactive about preventing these injuries from spreading. I think that is why the power of public health is just the right tool to apply.
Both groups continue to do their work as a brighter light shines on the ripple effects of a bullet.
We've had several people come up to us and thank us for saving their lives, and that's invaluable to me.
The Surgeon General's advisory also said this public health approach can turn the tide on gun violence the same way it did in the past for tobacco-related diseases and car crashes.
A former St. Louis Public Schools principal will spend the rest of his life in prison after pleading guilty for his role in a murder-for-hire plot. 5 on your side's Holden Kurwicki was in federal court today as Cornelius Green was sentenced for the 2016 crime. And he joins us in the newsroom. Holden.
Well, Ann, it was an emotional moment for the family of Jocelyn Peters, so much so that even the judge in this case was tearing up while listening to their statements to the court. But despite expressing his remorse for his role, Cornelius Green was emotionless throughout the entire proceeding. Green, a former principal at Carr Lane Elementary, pled guilty to stealing $2,500 from a school fundraiser and using that money to hire a hitman to kill Peters and their unborn child, Micah. Prosecutors say Green plotted with hitman Philip Cutler for months, leaving him the keys to his car and Peters' apartment before the murder. After pleading guilty, Green was given 2 consecutive life sentences, but Peters' family says that's not enough.
He gets to be in prison, he gets to eat, and he gets to do all this other stuff. His family gets to talk to him, you know, he's able to call his family, but I'm not able to call Jocelyn. You know, I'm not able to go visit Jocelyn. I'm not able to hug my granddaughter, you know, so no, life is no, it's not enough.
By pleading guilty to federal charges, Green will now avoid multiple state charges, which carry the possibility of the death penalty. I'll have more reaction from Peters' family coming up at 6 o'clock.
6 weeks from tonight, Missouri will nominate candidates to run for key statewide offices. Our political editor, Mark Maxwell, is here with new details on what we're learning about the race for Attorney General. Mark.
And in this modern political era where red states and blue states battle in court, often against the federal government, the office of Attorney General is becoming one of the most prominent, powerful perches anywhere, especially here in Missouri. And last night, we got a boatload of new information about 2 of the top candidates running for that job. Republican Will Scharf and Democrat Elad Gross debated for 90 minutes. You can watch the whole thing right now up on our website. One of the topics that stood out, though, this sharp divide between the 2 parties over the role of religion and religious displays in government. On the heels of Louisiana just adopting this week a new law to require public schools to display the 10 Commandments, candidates running for Attorney General here were asked how they'd respond if that happened in Missouri.
I think there's a very strong constitutional argument that the 10 Commandments being put up in the classroom is constitutional. And I think it would be great if our legislature did what Louisiana did. As I said before, I don't believe that the Constitution requires a strict separation between church and state.
It's unconstitutional. And it's a waste of the taxpayers in Louisiana's money. It's going to be a waste of our money if it comes here.
New lawsuits are already challenging that state law in Louisiana on the grounds that it expresses religious favoritism. Tonight at 6, a closer look at 2 campaign promises these 2 candidates are making.
Just a few hours ago, we found out the little black bear we've been tracking all week is now heading south. Arnold police shared a picture from around noon today. Officers say the cub was last seen traveling toward a wooded area near the Merrimack River. Since Friday, the Missouri Department of Conservation says the bear has been spotted in many areas, including Eureka, Baldwin, Sunset Hills. The Department of Conservation says that if the cub keeps heading the way that it is, it will hopefully find its way to the forest. St. Louis is welcoming a high number of immigrants. How you can help make them feel at home. 4th of July coming up quickly, so the city fire department issuing a warning. The dangers, it says, fireworks pose to the public.